Hey everybody, welcome to this second vlog that I'm doing on my channel. I'm calling it a vlog. It's more kind of a conversational piece, I guess, in a kind of ASMR style, really. Thank you very much for the response to the first one. It was really positive, as it always seems to be on the channel. It just seems to be a really positive kind of community on YouTube, and that's really great. Of course, do also feel free to leave comments with constructive criticism. It always helps as well. I don't have a problem with that at all. And also feel free to disagree with anything I say as well. That sort of discourse and understanding other people's opinions and side of things is how people grow. I know that kind of sounds like one of those sort of motivational posters you see up in offices, but genuinely, learning from other people's point of views, being able to understand empathy with them is a really important lesson you learn. So what am I going to talk about today? Well, I've got myself a little kind of diary thing here, which I'm using to kind of jot down ideas in, and not just for this vlog but also for videos and things like that as well that I want to do, because I don't know about you, but I often find myself in the kind of craziest places where I don't have I come up with a really good idea for something, and then I'm like, oh, I can't do that, and also I can't do it tomorrow because I'm really busy. And then by the time that third day comes when I may have time, or that fourth day, I've suddenly forgotten about the idea. So I'm starting to try and write everything down as soon as I think of it, even if it's a really bad idea. And I'm sure 60-70% of the stuff I write in here won't actually be used ever. But I think it's important to write things down so you remember them, because I've got kind of a terrible memory with things like that. So first of all, I've got a nice cup of Earl Grey tea here. I am what's known as a Philistine in the UK because I have it with milk, and a lot of people find that really strange, but it's just the way I like it. No sugar, obviously, that would be weird, but always have a little drop of milk in there. So what are we going to talk about today? Yeah, so I was watching a video on YouTube, funnily enough. Might sound strange, but it was by a YouTuber called Neistat. You've probably heard of him. He's a pretty big YouTuber, and he was talking about selling out. So for those of you who don't know who he is, he used to do like daily vlogs. I've only, to be honest with you, started watching a few of his videos in the last maybe 6 months or so, and he does some interesting things. Sometimes they're in partnership with different people. So he's got quite a famous Nike kind of, I guess, advert, you call it, but it's kind of not really an advert. And he does some interesting kind of conversational pieces as well sometimes on there. Anyway, recently he sold his company, which included, I think, his YouTube channel and a lot of other things he'd worked on, to CNN, the American kind of like news network, and he sold it for quite a lot of money. And he still runs his YouTube channel, and he works for CNN now. He didn't just hand everything over and walk away. And he was kind of responding to comments from people who were saying that he'd sold out. That he'd kind of I don't know. I don't even know what the kind of argument is there, but they were saying you've sold out. You've gone in partnership with this big brand company, and you're no longer this person we thought you were, I guess, is the kind of argument. It probably wasn't put in such a nicer term, but he was kind of responded to it, and he was talking about how when he was growing up and his family didn't have any money, and how he was forced to I think he said he got his girlfriend pregnant at 15, and he was forced to go get a job, and he'd worked his way up and built this channel up, and now he sold it, and now he's financially comfortable. and how there's nothing wrong with that. And I completely agree. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. That, if anything, is the American dream, isn't it? That is what people aspire to do. They aspire to create something, to build it, to work hard, and to ultimately be rewarded for that effort. The term selling out can kind of be used very broadly across other things. I talk about things sometimes in my videos where I'm like, I don't particularly like promotional videos on YouTube. From a personal point of view, I completely understand why they're relevant, and some channels wouldn't exist without them. But from a personal point of view, it's not something I would want to do. But that's a completely different subject to literally selling your business to somebody else. Like, there are examples of that every single day in countries all across the world where somebody builds a business up and then sells it off. There's kind of nothing wrong with that. I guess what people have a problem with is that they feel connected to his channel and to him, and they feel let down, I guess, that he has essentially taken the money, as if he should somehow remain penniless, and that produces better content. I don't know. So personally, I've got no problem with it. I think it's a fantastic achievement to build up a channel and then be able to sell it for millions of dollars to, to a larger company. It's a fantastic achievement, which, I guarantee probably 99% of people in his position would do exactly the same thing. Probably me included. Not that will ever happen, but the kind of point I'm making is, what is selling out? So I've often said I wouldn't do like promotional stuff on my channel. The reason being is that I don't rely on this channel for my means of income. So I have a full-time job. I do this channel as a hobby part-time, and it's important to me in that way. It's a part of me that I try to disassociate from money. So I do have adverts on my videos. Not at the beginning. You won't see the little skippable adverts unless it's a Nintendo game, in which case they do that and they get all the money for that. But I do put little kind of advert, the little banner adverts or whatever, which you can just click off, because I don't really think that's too intrusive. And so I make probably half the revenue I would if I did put those adverts in. But again, even if I made double the revenue I did, it really wouldn't buy very much. It wouldn't even buy the camera I'm recording this on. So my channel kind of runs at a loss, basically, which is fine. I don't have a problem with that at all. It's something I enjoy. If it was changed and by whatever means or whatever reason I had to use this channel to as my main means of income, if I had a family to support, if I had bills to pay, a roof over my head, and somebody was coming up to me and saying, look, if you make a video with our product, we'll give you X amount of money for it. It completely changes the subject, because to an extent, because obviously you have to have creative control over the things you do, and I think most of the time people do, especially bigger channels as well, because most of them are aware of the consequences if they do something which could be classed as shady. Like, it's their channel is their career, and a scandal or something like that could potentially ruin their reputation, which in turn could lose them their channel, and even break the laws and sorry, not the laws, but the terms and conditions of YouTube itself, and have their channel shut down. So I think most people like that. There are obviously some out there who are not quite as scrupulous, but where I think it kind of sells out would be if, for example, in my case on my channel, if somebody came up to you and went, look, we've released this game, we're going to pay you X amount of money to produce X amount of videos, and you have to be positive when you're doing the video. You're not allowed to say anything negative about the game. That's kind of where selling out kind of comes in a bit, because you're basically selling your, a lot of big YouTubers, and I discount myself from this, but a lot of big YouTubers have, especially gaming wise, have a very young audience, and they can be very they're highly influenced. People are even called social influencers nowadays. You know, we have at work, I work at a cinema, and they have PR companies where they will have celebrities come and watch films, and they will, for free. There's no money involved. They're just invited to come along, and then they tweet about it afterwards and say, "Oh, I watched this film at this place, blah blah blah." The film, if they like the film was really good. That's called social influencing, and what people are doing is they're influencing their audience to say, to put it out there. And these people obviously can have millions of followers on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, wherever you like, and that will obviously affect their audience. Now, the issue doesn't so much lie in if you're going to go watch a film that you really like and you say that, like, that's your opinion. The issue lies if you're not allowed to have that opinion. If you've signed that contract to say, I will just say this is good because I want X amount of money for it, that's where the issue comes in. And I think most people are smart enough not to do that. But the problem lies in that if you are watching a channel you do trust and they start to do more and more promotional work, the seeds of doubt will creep in. For example, I was watching, funnily enough, YouTube again today, and a advert came up before one of the videos I watched, and in it had a number of kind of prominent like tech review YouTubers, and it was an advert for LG, I think, and these tech YouTubers are giving their opinions on the product which LG is trying to sell, and they're saying like, oh, it's great, it's amazing, blah blah blah. Now, I don't know, maybe I'm a very cynical person, but for me, the doubt always remains in my mind of like, why would you do that as a channel? I can understand, like, you have to live, but a lot of these guys were really big channels who probably make a fair living off their channels. Like, why would you put yourself in a position where you are appearing in an advert promoting products which you normally would review? That is kind of a conflict of interest, if you like, in there, and it makes me feel uneasy, basically, with the way that works. I don't know what you guys' opinion is on it. If you are kind of fine with it, if you're like, well, it's fine, if they get paid money for it, then that's fair enough. There's a lot of people out there who get, life is short, you've got to make the money while you can, and I kind of agree, you have to, but to me, it seems like a kind of a dangerous line to flirt with, especially when you get into that level, because if you're watching somebody who reviews things or promotes things as their main channel, their credibility is everything to them, and if they lose that, then they suddenly don't become an influencer, and thus their main source of income is lost. And I don't know, I think it's a strange line to cross. I mean, from my point of view, I just wouldn't really put myself into that position, I don't think. So if I was, by some strange coincidence, like approached by a developer to say, hey, we've got this game, we're happy to give you a free code, if you do a few videos on it. If I played the game and was like, I don't like this game, would I still be like, okay, well, I might as well take the money, and it's £500 or something like that, which I wouldn't have, and I'll do a few videos on it. People can make up their own minds. I wouldn't feel comfortable doing that personally, because I don't know, every game I play on my channel is one I enjoy. Excuse me while I drink. Is a game I personally paid money for. I think, well, Skyrim, I didn't. Excuse me, sorry. So every game I play, I've kind of personally brought money for, apart from, I guess, Skyrim, because you get that free anyway. And I guess you can argue that every game I play is promotion. If somebody's brought a game off the back of watching one of my videos, then that's me kind of promoting. That's the two-way street between a YouTuber who plays gaming videos and the company who releases that game. They generally allow you to play that game without taking your ad revenue, in return hoping that you're going to bring in sales for that particular game. Unless, of course, you're Nintendo, who disagree with that concept. But that's fine. They're entitled to do that. I say it as somebody who has not really lost out any money. I just kind of find it a bit funny that they're the only company who do that. But there you go. So that will. I can't see a case where that wouldn't be the case, and but again, I will stress, I totally understand that people have bills to pay. This is their job. This is what they do. This is what they're good at. If somebody does present them with that opportunity to do that, and as long as they keep kind of creative control, or if they're, as long as they turn around and be like, you know what, this product's not for me, it's totally fine, I guess. I don't know. I saw that video and I saw the advert, and I just kind of started crossing my mind about things, about the perception, I guess, of somebody's channel and what they do. There was obviously a huge kind of uproar last year surrounding like CSGO, and also before that there was a lot of stuff like in the preceding few years about paid promotional videos which people weren't disclosing. I think things have got a lot better now since YouTube cracked down on it, so it's good, but it does kind of show that people, you flash some money in front of people's faces and some people will be like, yeah, I'll do that, no one will know, I'll take the money, which is sad, I guess. So the second thing I wanted to kind of talk about was, what would I do? How would my channel change if I did suddenly make a lot of money? If I did probably come into a lot of money, or if my say my subscriber and view count suddenly exploded, and I suddenly got 1 million subscribers for some weird reason. Probably YouTube glitch, that would be, I would imagine. How would it change? What would I do? And I was kind of thinking about this, like, what equipment would I buy and get? What videos would I do differently? And the number one thing I think I would do would be to hire an editor for my videos, because it's not something I enjoy doing, as most of you know. I don't edit a lot of my videos, and I think a lot of the time my videos would be better if they were professionally edited. I think anyone's videos would be better if they were professionally edited. This video, I'm sure, would be a lot better if it was professionally edited. But that's something I'd definitely do, and someone to kind of maintain and upkeep on my channel. Do the thumbnails, do the descriptions, all that type of stuff, because I really don't enjoy doing that. And when you release, as I kind of have been doing recently, 3 videos a day, it kind of becomes a bit monotonous to just be writing in the description all the time, to do scheduling, to do your end cards. It's quite annoying that if you ever actually watch a video to the end, which frankly about 70% of people don't, then you'll notice that there are these little subscriber thing come up and a little like video suggestion. You have to manually put that in every time, so you have to manually choose the template, choose the video that you want to go in there, and do that. It's not something you can set up automatically, as far as I'm aware anyway. If it is, please let me know, because I find it really boring. So I think that would be the main big thing I'd change. Equipment wise, I don't think I'd change much. Obviously, I guess maybe I'd upgrade my PC a bit, but it doesn't really need upgrading. It plays everything fine, so I wouldn't really have too much of an issue with that. I guess I'd like to do more things kind of out and about, and I'd definitely probably get like a better camera and stuff like that, real high-end stuff, and kind of do that, because the quality is important to me. I'm actually releasing tomorrow a 4K video, first time, and while I'm sure 99% of people probably won't even watch it in 4K, the quality level is kind of important to me. I want to put stuff out there which looks good on YouTube, because sometimes I'll be honest here and say, sometimes when I feel not necessarily bad about my channel, but sometimes when I'm like, things, I'm unhappy with a video, or I'm unhappy with how well something's doing, and I'm like, and I watch my subscribers' videos, and I'm like, God, they do this really well, like there's really good quality to these videos, really well structured, really good, and I'm like, God, I'm so bad at this. And I'm sure everybody feels that on YouTube. But if you ever feel like that on YouTube, my suggestion is to just watch some non-subscriber videos from small channels. And sometimes, and I feel bad saying it, I do, but sometimes there is utter trash out there. And don't get me wrong, I know it's usually made by like kind of small kids or whatever. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's by older people. But just kind of like quality wise and stuff like that, and structure. And I appreciate like everybody's got to start somewhere. And I don't really like to say that, but there is a clear thing where you're like, okay, well, I feel like my videos are better than this person, so I'm kind of happy about that. Of course, the problem then lies is if that person does have a lot more subscribers and views than you then start to feel bad again, which generally does happen quite a lot. So maybe I'm wrong. Maybe my videos are the ones who people go to when they want to see something that's trash on there. But so it's good though, because that sort of competition pushes you onwards, so you want to carry on and do your best. And when you see somebody who releases a really good video and you're like, God, I really want to match that level, I want to get to that level, and it kind of pushes you forward, and that's great. So that's good. So I think kind of if I ever came into that sort of money, like I think obviously I'd be able to do things full time, and in which case I'd be able to do a lot more like streaming and things like that, a lot more kind of a lot more of a schedule to things, and start to do that. Specifically on the streaming side, my schedule's fine on YouTube, and just do kind of more fun like that. I'd love to be able to kind of do that sort of thing full time and not have to worry financially about it. So in other words, get to a point whereby I can do what I want when I want, and financially be stable, rather than perhaps being like, I've got like, I don't know, 100,000 subscribers and I can just about scrape by each month, so I'll go in there, because then that is when it does open you up to that temptation to start clickbaiting and taking paid promotion and doing videos you might not normally do, just to try to get the stuff. Like, for example, I'm sure if I titled this video like my opinion on Donald Trump or something like that, I'm sure it would get a lot more clicks than it will do. But that's life, isn't it? Like, we all do it. I do clickbait stuff like that. But so I'd like to get to that stage now. Kind of appreciate there's usually like the hard work that goes in between, which is why I'm not really ever counting on getting to that level where I do YouTube full time. But I'd like to still try to get my videos to the level of somebody who does YouTube full time, my streams and things like that. So I've still got a long way to go. I know that a lot of stuff to work on and learn and do. But I am interested. Like, I am interested to know like you guys' opinions on things and with my channel. So, for example, I put out a lot of content on a daily basis, like usually 3 videos a day. Obviously one of them is usually from a stream or something like that. And I wonder if you guys are kind of like, I wouldn't mind if you just maybe put one out, but if it was edited in a way which kind of like made it better or something like that, I'd be really interested to know if that was a thing, or if you're like, no, actually I like the variety, because obviously ideally I'd like to have 3 videos a day and for them to be edited and polished and look really great. But from a time point of view, no one's got time for that. So without hiring somebody to do it for you, so or doing it full time, which I can't do. So I'm intrigued to know if that's something, because I see a lot of people, a lot of my people I sub to, a lot of people on YouTube who release less frequently, but when they do, they obviously put a lot of effort into that video. It's not to say I don't put effort into my videos, it's just to say that I try to do the best with what I've got, best with my personal skill set, which is not the editing skill set. Whereas I know a lot of people out there, I watch their videos and I'm like, yeah, this is really well done. I really like that. So yeah, I guess that was kind of a little bit off topic, but that kind of would be. But apart from that, I really don't think there's too much I would change on my channel. I'd love to spin off and do other things. Like I've got ideas of what to do for a website, like a specific kind of ASMR website, and do things like that. But like no time for that. Money probably as well. It would cost a lot of money. But I'd love to get to a point whereby the videos that people upload could almost be lossless in their ability, and even have an option to just download videos as well for people, so they can more easily watch them on the go on their phones or something like that as well, which obviously I know you can get things for YouTube which allow you to do that. I've seen my videos be available to download, and I don't have a problem with that at all, by the way. But in a better quality kind of version of them and stuff like that would be really cool to do. So yeah, I guess that's kind of the end of this vlog. I'm intrigued to know what you guys' opinions are, as always, on these things. This is meant to be a kind of conversational piece as much as anything. And so stay tuned tomorrow. As I said, I've got Child of Light coming, which is the first 4K playthrough I've done, and I think it looks stunning. I'm really happy with it. And previous to this video was a video on the game Climb, which is a VR game, and I will say one thing, I actually really love that video. Like, it sounds strange because it probably technically is the worst video I have in terms of the quality and the audio quality, but everything seems to come together on that to make it feel really almost real. So I use I've got like a lapel mic which I'm using for it, which is not as good quality as the Yeti which I use normally, but that kind of like slight rustle and stuff like that makes it sound as if I am actually like climbing, weirdly, and my like exhaustion and out of breathness, because I'm so unfit of actually trying to using the touch controllers, actually kind of adds this realism to it. And the way it's shot with what it makes it look like a kind of mobile phone kind of makes it feel like a kind of GoPro or something like that on someone's head. I don't know, it feels really good to me. I'd love to know your opinions on it, because like, as I say, I think it's really interesting. But there we go. So stay tuned for that, and thanks a lot for watching. If you've come this far, if you clicked off earlier, then I'm sorry. But yeah, and I'll see you guys next time, I guess. See you soon.